Recorded in the pits of Detroit, Michigan. Your ass is listening to Radio Underground. Shit.
Radio Underground. And that intro is really long when I just want to do a quick YouTube video. It's not quite a live stream vibe. But anyway, so I just want to do a brief video to explain to people our pirate radio roots. There's been about 5 or 6 people recently just in comment sections wanting to hear our story. I don't know why. And this is without them ever have watched a minute of our show. It's just in comment sections talking about pirate radio. So basically, here's the short version of it. Me and Brian, for many years, were into like CB radios, and we used to troll people on CB radio. It was fun. Back then, we didn't have the internet, so back in the early to mid '90s, you would troll people with a CB radio. Well, we met another guy that liked to troll people, and his name was Mr. Grinch. He was a little bit older than us. We were in our late teens, early 20s. He was closer to 30. But anyway, Mr. Grinch, after like a year of talking to him and bullshitting on the CB radio, we started hanging out, meeting up in person. He introduced us to scanners and different. I had scanners, but he showed us like scanners how you could, at the time, listen to unencrypted phone calls. We never recorded them, but we did listen to that crap, and nothing really cool happened. He just showed you how to do it. We could listen to McDonald's drive-throughs and weird stuff on the scanners. But ultimately, it ended up with him teaching us about pirate radio and how to build a transmitter. For I don't know, the first year or two, we just worked for his pirate radio station. It was called Dungeon Radio here near Detroit. It was on 87.9. We worked for him for about a year or two. He moves out to Phoenix. Before he moved out to Phoenix, we had him teach. He taught me how to build a FM transmitter. So when he left, that left 87.9 open because I only lived like a mile or two away from him, and I built a transmitter that got about 10 to 12 miles. At first, like no one was listening. I mean, we broadcasted for like 6-7 months and like got nothing. But we had a lucky break. This would have been about, I don't know, in the early 2000s. It would have been about the time iPods first became a thing and MP3 players, and people had those FM transmitters in their cars that broadcasted just in their car because people would put it on 87.9, which we were, and then they found us. So now we're coming through their radio when they would shut off their little transmitter. And why are people texting the shit out of me while I'm trying to do this? Sorry about that, guys. So we ended up, people started hearing us because they started getting iPods and just transferring all that data and stuff through their car. Well, we started to break through with our little signal here. After about about a year into it, we developed a pretty good following around here. And at the peak of what we did, we were getting about 50 to 75 calls because we had a burner phone that was pay as you go. You had to pay. You could buy these like cards that would give you minutes, and people would call and request songs. So after about a good, I don't know, year or two of that, everything was going fine. We got caught by the FCC. And if the FCC, it's not like the movie Pump Up the Volume where they found him and put him right in jail. What actually happens is you get 2 warnings and then you get the raid and the fine and all that. I got 1 warning and I just stopped for a while, didn't go back on. Then I went on for a little while and kind of rebuilt our fan base up a little bit. But that's why we're called Radio Underground, because we were underground. We were low on the dial and we were underground. But 2 things ended up killing the channel. One, podcasts and stuff started to become a thing because that was kind of growing and nobody was really listening to FM anymore, and they didn't have the transmitters anymore. They started to get Bluetooth, stuff like that. But another thing, I think that was the final nail in the coffin, is I got a little too, because I was a young guy. We got at the time a MySpace account, and I posted what we looked like and who we were, and then what band we were in, a local band. So everybody kind of knew who we were, and the mystique was completely gone. And so then everything kind of went to podcasts, and I didn't even know what a podcast was, for years. I mean, probably till like 2010, I didn't even know what a podcast fucking was. And but in our heyday, we were interviewed, when I was anonymous and stuff. So here's a picture of me. I got interviewed by this local magazine called The Record, Detroit's Music Journal. Here's a picture of me, my face on there, much slimmer, much better looking back then. And oddly, this little project we're doing now, we were on Justin TV, which became Twitch. And this is an OG YouTube channel, even though we didn't use it for anything but putting our band's videos on it. Literally, I just had our old band, Skarnak, our old videos on there. I didn't do anything with this. Then about 2019, late, way, way, way fucking late to the party, we started this. And we can't get our following because we're old and gross. But that's the story. We were a pirate radio station, and that's the genesis, the beginning of who we are. And that's why we're Radio Underground. And now we're old and gross and can't get a following. But who cares, right? You're just doing it for fun. So it's just like a band, a cover band. You do it for fun on the weekends with your buddies at the VFW hall. All right. Anyways, that's it. That's our story. Burn in hell.